Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. Washington is in shock, and the air around the stadium feels heavier than ever. Terry McLaurin, a name that has been synonymous with hope, grit, and undeniable talent for the Commanders, is reportedly moving on, leaving a void that will not be easy to fill for years. McLaurin carried the weight of expectations on his shoulders, sprinting past defenders, making impossible catches, and giving fans moments of sheer exhilaration that only legends can provide. The locker room, once filled with his energy and laughter, is now facing an uncertain future as teammates come to terms with the reality that one of the brightest stars in the franchise's recent history might no longer be wearing the burgundy and gold. Rumors have swirled for months, whispers of contract negotiations, disagreements with management, and the allure of greener pastures. But nothing prepared fans for the depth of the emotional impact this departure promises. Analysts are already speculating on the ripple effects across the team's offensive strategy, wondering how the Commanders will compensate for the sudden loss of their most explosive weapon, the player who consistently demanded double coverage and yet still emerged as the focal point of every game. It's a moment of reflection, sadness, and anticipation all rolled into one. The story of Terry McLaurin with Washington is not merely one of statistics or touchdowns. It is a saga of resilience, determination, and unyielding commitment to a team that has often struggled to find consistency. Since his arrival, McLaurin has been more than a receiver. He has been a symbol, a rallying point for fans who needed a hero to believe in. Every sprint down the field, every leaping catch, every touchdown celebration became part of a narrative larger than the game itself. Now, as whispers of his departure solidify into near certainty, questions abound about the future identity of the Commanders. Who will step up in his absence? How will the chemistry of the offense evolve without the presence of a player whose speed and hands could turn the tide of any contest? Inside sources suggest that discussions behind closed doors have been intense, negotiations fraught with tension, and emotions running high on all sides. Fans are grappling with the inevitability of change, mourning a hero in real time while bracing for a reality that will be markedly different from the electrifying displays they have grown accustomed to from the outside looking in. It's easy to underestimate the significance of McLaurin's role, but those who have watched every snap, every play, know that his impact transcends the stat sheet. He has been the spark that ignited rallies, the calming presence in pressure moments, and the embodiment of a team's heart and soul when circumstances seemed bleak. Rumors indicate that the friction leading to his exit might have involved contract disagreements, a desire for recognition commensurate with his talent, or perhaps a yearning for a fresh challenge elsewhere. Yet, for the Washington faithful, it is not merely about negotiations or numbers. It is about saying goodbye to an era defined by one player's relentless pursuit of excellence. Social media is already ablaze with tributes, speculative analyses, and heartfelt messages from fans who see in McLaurin's departure not just the end of a tenure, but the closing of a chapter filled with unforgettable memories, astonishing highlights, and an enduring connection that will linger long after his jersey is no longer in the locker room. The rumor mill continues to churn, with insiders hinting at multiple potential landing spots for McLaurin. Teams desperate to add a proven playmaker who can change the complexion of any offense. While some narratives focus on the financial aspects, the more compelling story lies in the emotional resonance of a player who has become a fan favorite almost instantaneously. Washington has tried to foster a winning culture, yet for many, McLaurin represented the tangible embodiment of hope and perseverance. Someone who consistently performed at the highest level, even when the surrounding circumstances were far from ideal. Teammates are said to be divided, with some advocating for retaining the star at almost any cost, while others understand the professional nature of his choices and the business realities of the league. Meanwhile, pundits are already debating the long-term consequences, questioning how the Commanders' offensive schemes will adapt, how the quarterback will adjust to the absence of his most reliable target, and whether the team can maintain fan engagement during a period of transition. Fans themselves are experiencing a roller coaster of emotions, vacillating between sadness, anger, and nostalgia. Stadiums that once roared with excitement at McLaurin's every move may now feel quieter, as if the cheers are waiting for a return that might never come. Merchandise sales, highlight reels, and social media engagement reflect the profound imprint he has left. making it clear that this is not just a player leaving a team, it is a cultural moment. For Washington sports, a turning point that will be dissected for years to come. Community events, fan gatherings, and local media are already adjusting their narratives to acknowledge the departure, offering retrospectives on McLaurin's career, celebrating the moments that defined his tenure, and speculating endlessly on what his next move will be. The undercurrent of rumor, anticipation, and speculation creates a unique tension, a mix of mourning and excitement, as supporters and critics alike attempt to parse every clue, every statement, and every subtle signal that might indicate the trajectory of the next phase in McLaurin's journey. Ultimately, McLaurin's exit from Washington, should it materialize, underscores the delicate balance between talent, recognition, and opportunity in professional sports. For a city accustomed to highs and lows, the loss of a player so emblematic of determination and skill resonates far beyond the confines of the football field. Analysts predict that his departure will trigger a domino effect, influencing not only the team's roster decisions, but also coaching strategies, fan expectations, and even the broader perception of the franchise's direction. Yet, amid the uncertainty, one truth remains immutable: Terry McLaurin has left an indelible mark on Washington, shaping memories, inspiring the next generation of players, and etching his name into the lore of a team and city that will remember him long after he has moved on. The whispers of his next destination only add to the intrigue, a tantalizing narrative that keeps fans, insiders, and pundits hooked on every unfolding detail. The speculation surrounding McLaurin's next chapter has reached fever pitch, with whispers suggesting multiple franchises are circling, eager to harness his speed, agility, and uncanny ability to create separation. Even as Washington braces for the impact of his departure, the league itself is abuzz with potential matchups, trade scenarios, and strategic recalibrations. The mere possibility of Terry McLaurin donning a new uniform has sent shockwaves through fantasy leagues, betting markets, and highlight reels, as analysts predict that his arrival could transform offensive schemes in ways previously unimaginable. Behind the scenes, executives are portrayed as wrestling with the implications of his departure, weighing immediate gains against long-term strategic considerations, while coaches debate the merits of rebuilding around emerging talent versus chasing marquee players to fill the void left by McLaurin's absence. The rumor mill is relentless, fueled by cryptic social media posts, veiled comments during press conferences, and unnamed sources hinting at imminent moves, creating a narrative that is as much about suspense as it is about sport. The emotional dimension of McLaurin's potential exit cannot be overstated. For teammates, he has been more than a receiver. He has been a confidant, a motivator, and often the emotional center of the locker room. Losing a figure of such prominence is rarely just a technical adjustment. It is a human story of relationships, mentorship, and shared experiences that transcend the gridiron. Sources indicate that his bond with certain teammates has been particularly strong, making the prospect of separation not only a tactical dilemma, but also an emotional upheaval. Fans, meanwhile, are engaging in collective reminiscence, recounting the miraculous catches, electrifying sprints, and memorable celebrations that made McLaurin a household name. The mix of sentiment, speculation, and analysis has created a cultural phenomenon, a narrative that has transcended standard sports coverage and entered the realm of community identity and personal connection. Insiders continue to hint at tension points that may have influenced McLaurin's decision, suggesting that contract negotiations were just the surface of a complex web of considerations involving management philosophies, long-term career goals, and the desire for a platform that matches his ambitions. While the public often focuses on the financial figures or headline statistics, those within the league understand that departures like this are the result of layered dynamics, personal growth, professional recognition, and strategic timing, all intertwined to shape outcomes that fans ultimately experience as newsworthy drama. The fact that McLaurin's exit has generated such fervent discussion underscores his significance. He is not simply another player changing teams, but a catalyst for debates about fairness, loyalty, and the evolving nature of professional football in the modern era. The marketplace of potential landing spots for McLaurin adds another layer to the ongoing speculation. Teams rumored to be in the mix range from those needing a primary offensive weapon to contenders seeking a difference maker for high-stakes situations. Each franchise brings its own narrative, expectations, and challenges, creating a labyrinth of possibilities that fans and analysts attempt to navigate daily. Every hint of a phone call, every subtle tweet, and every offhand comment in interviews is dissected, generating new scenarios and keeping the story in a constant state of flux. The intrigue is compounded by the fact that McLaurin's skills are universally acknowledged, making him a coveted asset whose decisions could shift league dynamics, influence game outcomes, and redefine team strategies in a single offseason. Meanwhile, the cultural impact of his tenure with Washington is becoming more apparent as former teammates, coaches, and fans share anecdotes that highlight not just athletic prowess, but also leadership, work ethic, and the ability to inspire. Social media threads are overflowing with compilations of his career highlights, testimonials about his character, and reflective commentaries that frame McLaurin as more than a player, positioning him as a symbol of resilience and excellence. The narrative is not just one of professional change, but of personal legacy, emphasizing the enduring impressions he has made on those who followed his career closely and those who experience his impact more indirectly. The mix of speculation about his next steps and celebration of his past contributions creates a dual narrative that is both suspenseful and sentimental, a story that resonates on multiple levels across the sports community. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Ultimately, the story of Terry McLaurin leaving the Commanders, whether finalized tomorrow or in the near future, embodies the intersection of sport, emotion, and narrative. Intrigue. It is a reminder that professional football is as much about human stories as it is about touchdowns and statistics. The whispers, rumors, and analysis continue to shape the collective imagination of fans, analysts, and players alike, keeping everyone on edge as they anticipate the next development. One thing is certain: McLaurin's presence, whether on the field or in conversation, has left an indelible imprint, ensuring that his name will remain central to Washington's sporting narrative and to the broader discussions surrounding the league's evolving dynamics. With the contract signed and the news official, like confirmed, all eyes are now on Lamb and the Commanders, as speculation intensifies about the immediate and long-term ramifications of this landmark acquisition. Analysts continue to pore over his past performances, dissecting tendencies, statistics, and situational excellence, while fans imagine electrifying scenarios where Lamb redefines what is possible within the team's offensive system. Teammates reportedly oscillate between awe and motivation, inspired by his presence and aware that it sets a new standard for effort, execution, and impact, creating an internal culture shift that could reverberate far beyond the field. Meanwhile, league insiders whisper about the broader implications, from draft strategies to trade considerations, noting that a player of Lamb's stature has the power to alter competitive balance and redefine expectations across multiple franchises. Social media commentary remains relentless, with debates about play styles, highlight moments, and strategic brilliance feeding an endless loop of engagement, excitement, and speculation. Every practice update, interview snippet, or strategic hint is dissected, magnified, and reinterpreted, building a living narrative where the boundaries between rumor, anticipation, and reality blur, making CeeDee Lamb signing a story that dominates discussions, captivates imaginations, and promises to shape the football landscape for seasons to come. Finally, as practices progress and speculation intensifies, the narrative surrounding Lamb's signing seems to grow richer with each passing day, blending tangible strategic considerations with intangible elements of perception, expectation, and excitement. Coaches, teammates, and analysts alike are caught in a web of conjecture, planning, and anticipation, attempting to forecast how a player of Lamb's explosiveness will redefine possibilities on the field. Fans engage in heated debates over potential matchups, highlight-worthy plays, and the psychological impact of having a receiver whose very presence can command attention and shift defensive priorities. Insider sources suggest that Commanders' staff are exploring creative offensive schemes, tailoring route trees, and even adjusting practice regimens to ensure Lamb's talents are maximized, reflecting the enormous value attributed to his acquisition across the league. Whispers circulate about potential domino effects, from changes in opponent strategies to shifts in player market dynamics. As the signing sends ripples far beyond a single team, every report, every hint, and every micro movement in practice feeds into an ever-expanding narrative that blends rumor, excitement, and genuine anticipation, making CeeDee Lamb's transition to the Commanders one of the most captivating sagas in recent professional football memory. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.